Today on Sports Idiot Nation, we'll tell you why we think there's something in the water in Las Vegas. We'll also tell you what's better than a walk-off granny in the World Series and what Wisconsin puts on their pizza.
Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds, and he better not forgot that special sauce.
This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome in, sinners, to Sports Idiot Nation, the weekly recap show that goes over what happened last week while highlighting what is to come. And we also come to you every Thursday as well as every Monday. So we are here for you 2 times a week. I don't even know if your wife is there for you 2 times a week. I don't know for sure.
Double whammy.
So I am Adam
Double
Marino,
trouble.
as always, joined by Mr. T.I., Mr. 31 Flavors, Mr. 31,000 followers, and Miles Behind Enemy Lines, who always tells you basically who screwed up behind enemy lines. So we'll get into more of that. So we got a lot to get into. I want to talk about my second. I'm excited. My second favorite team is in the World Series. They're just not doing that well. As you know, my favorite team is the San Francisco Giants, and my second favorite team is whoever is playing the Dodgers. So my team is in the World Series. So my second favorite team. They haven't showed up yet, but guys, they play at home now. So tonight they play after former Giant Carlos Rondon screwed the pooch and did not pitch very well. And the Yankees bats have kind of screwed the pooch.
Yeah, especially Aaron Judge. Woo.
Man, yeah, I guess I'll say
Disappearing.
what's his name? Soto. Soto's doing his thing. He's accounting for like 70% of the runs. And he's doing his thing. Stanton kind of is. It's funny. I was watching with my cousin Mike, and Giancarlo Stanton came up, and he doesn't know baseball the way that we do. He used to get into it. He vowed next year that he wants to go to some Giants games because he grew up a Giants fan, as did I. And I was like, yeah, Giancarlo. He was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah. You know what his name was before? He was like, what? Like Pablo or something? I'm like, no, Mike. Like, what? Like, all of a sudden, Giancarlo Stanton just wanted to be called Giancarlo and not called Mike anymore. And he didn't believe me. He's like, that doesn't make any sense. How would you go from Mike to Giancarlo? You might as well just say, like, John to Pitbull. Or like, what? It doesn't make any sense. But he's kind of doing his thing, but man,
Pitbull, huh?
not looking good.
Pitbull,
It's like
my
Simon and
wife's favorite rapper.
Garfunkel. That's Simon and Garfunkel's The Sound of Silence. In the naked light, I saw 10 silent bats, maybe more. That's how it kind of felt for the Yankees in Dodgers Stadium. But they've got potentially, if they make it past Game 4, 3 straight home games. And I hate the 2-3-2 format, especially for baseball, with how pitching rotations go. I much more prefer with these multi-billion-dollar leagues doing the 2-2-1-1-1 format, because the Yankees basically have to win 3 in a row now or they're done for.
For sure.
Mhm.
They did
Yeah,
2-3-2 because of back in the day for travel, because airfare and all that costs so much.
That's
but
why
now
I say
that's not a factor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And that's
I
why
mean,
the
the
NBA
Yankees
used to do
aren't-
it themselves and went away from
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, the Yankees aren't really struggling to pay airfare, so they could just kind of chill out. They make enough money on just their TV deal alone, you know. But, yeah. What was the Yankees have went cold for sure. I mean, of course, we all share the same sentiment with the Dodgers. But what was the post I saw? I sent you guys in the chat where it's like the guy's like, he's like, man, the Yankees, they can't hit anything. He's like, my dead grandmother can hit better better than this team and shouldn't have any arms.
Right.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know who that guy
Brutal.
was, but I was scrolling through on, Pat McAfee's page. Shout out Pat McAfee, big supporter of TI. I'm a big supporter of him. I love what he does. If you all out there don't follow Pat McAfee, I recommend you do. But I'm scrolling through his comments because the people that follow him have some great comments, and I almost spit my beer out when I read that comment. So I had to send it to you guys immediately. But yeah,
that's the stuff that we like to post.
Not only is she dead, she doesn't have arms either.
Yeah, she doesn't have arms. She can still hit better in this team. But of course, I'm not rooting for the Dodgers. Naturally, not a huge Yankees fan. I think we all, when Limp Bizkit was popular, we might have all temporarily adopted the Yankees because Fred Durst always, had a Yankees hat on. But other than that, I'm a Cardinals fan. We've sucked since 2010, so I'm definitely rooting for the Yankees. But they don't look good. So, Miles, I agree with you that the format, and Adam as well, not my favorite format. I like the 2-2. I think it puts more emphasis on you stealing a game versus you sucking for 2 games and then getting rewarded for 3 home games. Like congratulations, you sucked for 2 games. Now you get to play at home for 3 straight games, so you can try to get the lead. It's kind of like, no, earn that, steal that victory on the road, then earn that home field advantage. Don't be giving it to you on a platter for sucking the first 2 games. So yeah, I agree with you guys. I like the typical format. So yeah, I don't know, man. We could easily see the Yankees tied up, or we could see the Dodgers just sweep this thing, man, and just go home. I mean, let's be real. I mean, it's not what either of us want to see. It's what no baseball fan wants to see, but it's possible. It's highly possible. I mean, Aaron Judge is just magic trick out there. It's like, want to see me disappear? Boom. That's him. He's just like, what is he?
I think Freddie Freeman really ruined it for the 3 of us, hitting that grand slam walk-off in game 1. That just sucked the air out of the series for us. And after that, I'm like, Dodgers, just go ahead and sweep this series because I don't really care for the Yankees either. I just get this done with. Sure. Let's focus on football, basketball, and hockey.
If it was any other team, literally for me on the planet, it could have been even the Padres or the Dirtbags. For me, it's just different with the Dodgers. If it was anyone else, I'd be like,
Dirtbags. Is that the Diamondbacks?
That is the coolest thing ever to hit a walk-off grand slam in the World Series. And then hit another home run the next game too. Like, dear Lord, talk about MVP. And if Shohei can't go, now he's on track. Remember, he got caught stealing a base, and his shoulder is kind of the issue, and it's dislocated, and he is on track to play for tonight. But you know how things go. We'll see how it goes. He is 18 for his last 26, I believe, with runners in scoring position. He has not done that well since I've given that stat, actually.
That's video game numbers, though.
But
man.
it still is insane.
That's
18 for your last 26.
I would say he might go ahead and pull a Kirk Gibson, but he might just go ahead and pull a Freddie Freeman in game 1.
I was going to say, so Freddie Freeman has a bum ankle. And that was kind of the thing, is if you have a bad leg and you're in the World Series and it's like crunch time, just don't throw to the guy because he's hitting it out.
If he's a Dodger.
First pitch. Right. First pitch, too.
Well, it's a good thing that he doesn't have to hit the ball with his ankles, though, because probably wouldn't work. Good thing he has a bat. Good thing he has a bat.
So,
but what about that? But what about the timing of that grand slam? The 10th, and then it was the exact same as Kirk Gibson. Exact same time.
8:47.
Like that's just
late center field.
It's stuff like that just makes me go, Dodgers are taking this thing. It's just when history does stuff like that, it's kind of like when you're watching your favorite team, maybe it's a Monday Night Football game or whatever, and then or it's an NCAA game, whatever. And then there's some tragic event that happens. Maybe a former legendary coach dies, or a coach's spouse is sick, or there's just some tragic event that comes to fruition. I'm always like, there's no way my team's winning this game. They're going to get blown out. I mean, let's talk about the Brett Favre Monday Night Football when his father died, right? Like, That's
against the
probably
Raiders.
the greatest game he's ever played in his entire life. You know, I mean, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but still, like, won a Super Bowl, yeah. But that game was just like unreal, and that's kind of like when stuff like that happens to the Dodgers. You're just like, it's inevitable. Like, they're going to win this thing, you know. So hopefully we're wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. I don't know how you guys are feeling. I don't know if you guys are still thinking the Yankees are going to pull it out, but hopefully
Walker
I'm wrong.
Buehler tonight. So
Buehler.
Not feeling I mean, he's a gamer, and I hate to say that he's like a Tim
Save
Lincecum.
Ferris.
And yeah,
gotta save Ferris.
And Clark Schmidt is going for the Yanks. The game is in the Bronx, so that's good. I mean, Yankee fans are going to be going crazy. It's the first time that they've been in, the World Series for a while, so those fans, are going to be going crazy. But you do kind of feel like there is something in the water on the West Coast that, like, it's just their time, which is frustrating. But I want to shift gears.
Probably the same stuff that might have been in that pizza we might be talking about later.
Yes, we will get into that later. I do want to acknowledge myself as I was giving the perfect segue. As I mentioned, there is something in the water because we've discussed this on a group chat before that, like, what in the world was LSU doing losing way back when in Las Vegas when they lost to USC? We're like, what is happening? And then I happened to notice the amount of rushing yards that a one running back from Boise State did not get. 3.9 yards per carry, which in the grand scheme of things is decent. It's not like world beater, 3.9 yards a carry, but he was like 10.4 or something, like just god awful crazy, right? And Boise State played UNLV in Las Vegas, and I don't know what's going on. It's like a weird abyss if you play in Vegas, because LSU, we still are scratching our heads.
I mean, he still put up like 137 yards or something, you know? I mean,
yeah, but he get that at halftime usually.
I know, but I mean, he's not going to put up 300 yards every game, you know? He's a human. He's not a video game, you know?
Well, right. But he doesn't when he's in Vegas.
But you're right.
What happens in Vegas, I guess? I don't know.
Well, statistically stays in Vegas, right?
Statistically stays in Vegas, yes. Which speaks to the parity of college football, right?
But right. He had been averaging 6 yards after contact a carry this season. But when you're a dude going for that record beating Barry Sanders, you can't just average 4 yards a carry and expect it. Now,
3.9.
To UNLV's credit, they're a good team and they have one of the best defenses west of the Mississippi. I'll put it that way. Maybe not the best football out there. Big 12 would beg to differ, but no, Big 12 is not very good. Sorry. But UNLV was going to be the last roadblock for Boise State before they make their push towards the playoffs. So the fact that they at least checked that box, but Boise State did not look that great. Honestly, Boise State played better football when they lost at Oregon. They're only blemish on their record. But now, Genty, after that, it's like, man, with how loaded this Heisman watch is right now, that really hurt him, especially because Cam Ward is, putting up gaudy numbers and points every week for Miami because, well, their schedule sucks too. But I think Cam Ward got a little bit of a cushion now between him and Genty for the Heisman.
I think so too. Although Cam didn't, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't look at his rushing stats or anything, but I know he didn't pass for any touchdowns. So I don't know. I mean, they won, of course, but I don't think he had any touchdowns.
He looks so nonchalant out there.
He only had like 200 yards too. So like, I don't know. But I agree. I agree 100%. So going back though, Barry Sanders, what did Barry Sanders average in college? What did he average per carry? You might know.
Oh, per carry. Oh, God.
Per carry, I think it was 72 yards. I don't know, something like that.
Pulling out a random Oklahoma State.
Going side to side. Remember, the field is 50 yards.
3 yards.
Yeah, of course. And that's so. And what was he at? Oklahoma State? Is that where he was?
Yeah,
correct. He was a Pope.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, man. Barry was the man.
Oh, he was, man. The Lions aren't listening though. They got enough running backs.
Man, we'll get into that in a second. The last thing tying up college football is
Auburn.
it's this
Auburn
time.
won. Auburn won. That's what we're talking about.
God,
Right? Everybody
War
wants to talk
Eagle.
about Auburn.
We're never going to hear the end of it.
So back, baby. We are so back. Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky's no match for the Auburn War Eagle Plainsmen Tigers.
Between that and all the field goals that the 49ers kicker is making, like,
right.
man, War Eagle is just.
That's right, man. You are officially an Auburn fan now, Adam. You have a Carlson at the helm kicking. And hey, he may have lost his job in Green Bay, but I will say that those two dudes, as long as they don't have anything mentally going on, Daniel and Andrews, they are phenomenal kickers, man. They'll kick you 55.
Oh, is that all? As long as they don't have anything mental, that's the only thing that a kicker could possibly have.
Well,
going wrong.
Daniel never had any issues. He was money, man. He was always money. Auburn kickers are always Cody Parkey, like their kickers are always phenomenal. But Andrews, something happened in Green Bay, man. They were like, we're gonna cut him ahead of time. And I think that was a little premature. He's a good kicker, but there's a lot of kickers out there, so I get it. But I think that. But let me ask you a question: did they cut Moody or is he hurt?
He's hurt.
Okay,
he was making a tackle on special teams, and then the next guy dislocated his shoulder. So the punter had previously kicked one this year. So the 49ers are the only NFL team to have 4 human beings make field goals for their team. 4. That's wild.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I think that's
Now, everyone has made them. Every single one. There's only been one missed field goal, and it was by the main guy, Moody. And that's probably just because he went to Michigan.
Well, whatever happens, if they cut him whenever Moody comes back. But, man, I think he's going to put up some numbers for you guys. I think he's going to be – I think you're going to rely on him. And I think you're going to dig him, man. He's a good kicker. He's a real good kicker.
I hope we don't. I hope we just give the ball to Christian McCaffrey soon and just get in the end zone.
He's still in Germany visiting with the doctors, I think. You know, he's probably hanging out with Aaron Rodgers, probably with some Arahuska. I don't know. How do you pronounce that stuff that Rodgers and I don't even know how you pronounce that stuff. But
I don't know how you lose to the Patriots. That's what
I was about to say. Speaking of 5 in a row, the MILF Hunter himself is not looking so bad anymore.
In the interview, Aaron Rodgers said, "Well, sometimes when you're in the darkness, you just have to accept it." And I'm like, "What? So if you lose the next 10 games, you just have to accept it." Like
there's that classic Aaron Rodgers meme. It was back when he was in Green Bay, but it's from one of the games where they're just getting blown out, and they're like, there's a couple guys on the bench that are talking to him. One of them's looking at the board. It's like, Aaron, man, come on, man. Like, we're getting blown out, man. What's going on? And Aaron Rodgers is like, no, you guys are getting blown out. I'm not. And I just think it's funny. Like, that's him. He's like, oh, well, I don't care. You know, I mean, love him or hate him.
Got to accept it.
You know, he's, I've went on record. He's always been one of my favorite QBs. I love that he doesn't give a shit. I love that he just,
he definitely doesn't.
Man. He doesn't, So, but yeah, to lose to the Patriots, gives me hope for the Titans because the Patriots won this week. They can't win 2 in a row. They cannot win 2 in a row. We just need another win, so I don't have to get that Jake Locker tattoo.
So this is what I have to ask you guys as Titan fans, and first of all, let me say, I love just making fun of you guys that when something negative happens, like even Mason Rudolph finds a way to have a turnover or something that I
finds a way to have a turnover. Finds a way. Come on, man. He had a turnover within 2 minutes of the game. That ain't finding. That was your goal. That was your goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not hunting out there like, ooh, look what I found. Like you're like, hey, bro, interception. And it was a very Will Levis-like interception too. It was like falling, stumbling. He was like, ugh, take it.
Yeah. I don't need it. I don't need this.
And then he's staring down Ridley or whoever. I can't remember if it was Ridley or NWI. He's staring him down Kirby Joseph grabs it like, oh, thanks. I'm just going to take this from you. Like I could.
It was probably Ridley
that.
because he had like 150 yards actually.
That guy's grandmother with no arms could have intercepted that. You know.
And she's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, she's dead. It's Halloween though. We could resurrect her, and yeah, she'd probably still put up three catches for 40 yards against the Titans.
Yeah,
Against the Titans, anybody could. Against the Titans, it doesn't matter, man. You could just put a mannequin out there against the Titans. It would somehow score a touchdown.
Ricky Pearsall could have the day after he was shot.
Yeah,
he could have went in and got.
Speaking of, what did he do?
We can't even catch footballs.
Did he get a chance to play yesterday?
Yeah, so it wasn't his first game. Actually, the previous week he had 3 catches for 21 yards. Today he had 3 rushes and 3 catches for a total of about 150 yards. He had one very long run on a jet sweep. That was pretty cool. So yeah, he did his thing. I mean, he had a couple third down conversions. The 49ers beat the Cowboys. That's such a non-story. I don't even no one cares. Like no one expected the Cowboys to win. The 49ers always beat them in the last 5 years. So it's just like,
I know we have no room to talk as Titans fans, but the Cowboys are very underperforming. They are very underperforming. And I am not going to attest it to just Dak. I'm going to attest it to the holdout. I'm going to attest it to the CeeDee Lamb holdout because I just think they're just not in sync anywhere. They just
I don't want to tell you CeeDee Lamb's numbers then. From last night.
I know. No, I saw he had some good stuff. I'm just saying in general, like they just for a team with that roster, they just look way out of sync. You know.
Hey, if this was 2016, they'd be awesome because their 2 running backs tonight were Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook. So man, I'll tell you what, if this was about 8 years ago.
At the end of the day, everything is Jerry Jones' fault. Simple as that. It's all.
If you follow the score,
he's got to give it up.
He's Calvin Cook. His name was Calvin Cook. If you follow the score, because they made a big post about him returning and never changed it. And the thread is phenomenal comments. It's like Calvin Cook Hall of Fame career and like all this stuff, you know. And you know, so sometimes I think they do it on purpose for engagement, you know.
So speaking of that. Another reason why I need to follow Sports Idiot Nation on social media, because the score, as we shift back to college just for a second, we'll let Miles have his flowers and give him the next 10 minutes to talk about IU. The score said that there was 29 minutes left in the quarter, and we posted that on our social media. So I'm like, that's plenty of time. That's plenty of time for them to go up by 2 scores because at the time I think they were only up by 1 score, which is an absolute tragedy for IU football. Said at any given point to only be up by 1 score. Miles, take it from here.
Well, you want to make fun of me for being a Titans fan. I told you guys, look, Titans might be 1-6, Hoosiers 8-0. It's that Thanos balance right there, and I'm not used to getting that in football. And just my teams are mundane at best on any level. But Hoosiers, they did what they did, and it's just one of those games that like you almost had no interest in because you're like, this game's never in doubt. IU's got their backup quarterback, which it was completely apparent that he's not Curtis Rourke. He was solid. He made his young man mistakes, being a redshirt sophomore, some easy touchdown throws, or at least one throw on the second drive that he should have made. But it was like, he missed that throw. Who cares? We're still going to win this game anyways. And it's gotten to that point where we're that confident and still through 8 games, still have not trailed. First FBS team since 1998 to not trail through 8 games. That blows my mind. You got 2001 Miami. You got 2013 Florida State. You got 2019 LSU and a couple of other undefeated teams in there. You throw the USC teams in there. I can't believe it's been 26 years that a single team hasn't trailed through 8 games, and it took the Indiana Hoosiers to get it done. But this week coming up, it's a trap game. You got a mid-afternoon game at Sparty. They play much better at home than they do on the road. Their last home game, they took care of Iowa, but you still got to respect any Big Ten team that's sitting around 500 in conference, and we'll see
older
what's
brother
Curtis
tough.
Rourke.
They played older brother
Yeah.
this weekend.
Is
Yeah,
Iowa
which
still
that's
putting up like
still
12?
not that impressive, but
Yeah.
Is Iowa still
Yeah.
putting up like 12 points a game like they've done for the last 4
well, they
years?
hung
or-
40 on Washington.
Oh,
But they pretty much blew their entire load on that game. So the fact that IU couldn't put up 40 on Washington, but Iowa did, I was a little disappointed. But of course, you didn't have your starting quarterback that's like a top 10 contender for the Heisman. He won't get invited to New York just for the simple fact he was out for a game and a half now. But Curtis Rourke, we need him back because now we're thinking, oh my God, this team could actually win the Big Ten. This team could beat Ohio State on the road after seeing that Ohio State has
Eddie.
issues. They have issues.
That's what I was about to lead into. I was going to ask you. I was going to with what IU did to Nebraska and seeing that Nebraska came close. Does that give you hope that like, hey, I think we can get this?
It's not just that. I mean, look at what Ohio State did at the start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They played mid-major teams, and sure, they ended up taking care of business the second half. But Marshall, Akron, they were sloppy, and you expect that. Like, they're not that interested. It's the start of the year, but now you're starting to see a trend. And even that Oregon game, like they were exposed a bit defensively in this IU offense with Curtis Rourke. Oh, we can hang 40 at Ohio State.
Yeah,
our defense is solid. But Ohio State's going to score points on us. That's just the reality. Ohio State would be far and away the best team we play this year, during the regular season at least. But we've got a real chance. Ohio State's the favorite, probably 4 times out of 5. We play that game in the shoe in Columbus, we lose. But I'm feeling pretty good that we might have that one Saturday afternoon that we knock them off, and suddenly we're going to be 12-0 then. As long as we get through Sparty this week, I'm confident against Michigan at home. We'll obliterate Purdue, who's not even a college team right now. And then everyone was making fun of Sig for saying, hey, we're going to be in Indy this December. And everyone's like, that dude needs drug tested, yet da-da-da-da. No, ain't no one saying that now.
Mm-mm.
No, they're saying
awesome.
the players need to be drug tested because they're too good.
It's fun to
You
see
don't
too.
hear that about IU football very often.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like we're used to basketball, of course, and even I mean over the past few years, that has not really been the main thing. You know, it's like you don't really ever hear about football. So of course, like Miles has a vested interest, so we're all rooting for him. You know, Adam, you're there in the state, so you like to see it too, and I'm on board too because why not? I mean, my team's awful, although we're totally back because we beat Kentucky. But other than that, we have Vandy this week, so we're probably going to get waxed. But hey, you know, it was fun while it lasted. Fun fact. Auburn is the only team in the SEC who has a losing record historically to Vanderbilt. Go ahead. It's the truth. It's the truth.
What?
Absolute truth. Yeah.
How?
It's true. And the last 2 games that I have watched Auburn play Vanderbilt, they have lost. So I've seen those live. Well, not last 2 games. Last 2 games in Nashville. Excuse me. Last 2 games in Nashville. So, yeah, it's been a rough go. But
that sounds crazy.
But yeah, so I know, right? I know, but you got to think
that's a stat worth Halloween.
They
week,
never played each other
horrifying.
regular. And, you know, Auburn statistically has not really been that good. You know, of course they have been in the modern era, but not in the past, you know, back when a lot of those games really were being counted. But so, yeah, I'm on board with Indiana too. I think it's cool, man. I think it's super cool. I want to see them get in there and shock some folks. And you're going to have some SEC teams eat each other. I mean, Georgia, Tennessee still play each other.
Yep.
I mean, you still have, you know, you still got games. I mean, Vanderbilt and Tennessee still play each other. Tennessee still has to play Kentucky. There's a lot of football left. A&M still has to play Auburn. Who knows? Auburn could beat A&M. I mean, they could. I mean, you don't know.
Well, A&M still plays Texas. I mean, my God, that's going to be the big game of the last week, which leaves the door open for Indiana.
Yeah, dude. Indiana can easily sneak in there, and if they were to beat Ohio State on top of these other teams, you know, cannibalizing each other, holy cow, man! You could see a end of the year top 3 finish for IU or something. You know, wouldn't that be crazy? If it's like, or what if it's like Oregon and IU are the top 2 teams?
Well, it's got to be the top 4 are going to be conference teams, but even so, Oregon being number 1 and IU at number 5 with the top at large seed, it's not impossible. I mean, it's not impossible that IU could be number one going to
No.
playoff. We got a long way to go before that,
Hey,
but it's like
Oregon chokes.
that's kind of the goal now, and it's reasonable.
Just doesn't make any. Like, what did you
No,
just
it
say?
doesn't.
You, like,
Right. I thought I was playing a video game where I'm like, hey, I'm going to lead IU to a national title, and hey, by the way,
even
Vanderbilt's
in a
got a
video
top
game.
25 program. It's hard. And that doesn't take. You can't do it in one season. You got to build up like 4 seasons and some transfer portals. But SIG is just next
beginner
level,
mode.
man. Yeah, right.
That is crazy. So
yeah,
college
it's fun.
football.
It's fun. I'm on board. Toot toot.
Tomorrow, right? Big news for college football tomorrow. So stay tuned. I mean, we'll get a better picture of how things are laid out. So
Yeah.
be sure to follow social media at Sports Idiot Nation, wherever you get your social media, because we're always going to be sharing that information. So if that's where you want to get your news, you can count on us. One thing that we cannot count on
It's the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, like just when
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry.
So,
I thought that's who we were talking about. I'm sorry.
So I'm just gonna run down some scores, and I'm not gonna say the teams. Okay, 20-30, 24-30, 24-29, 20-23, 30-27, 31-26, 22-25, 28-27, 37-17, 26-8.
We get it. We know where you're going. We know where you're going with this. We get it.
18-15, 27-20, 28-14. Those were all the NFL scores, and I haven't gotten to the most hilarious. Okay,
and
52-14.
Sounds like an IU score.
Like the only blowout was the Chargers 26-8, the Bills 31-10. Other than that, every single game was like 29-24, 30-24, 31-26.
One score games. It's
like
the NFL.
all
it
of it.
be.
Like the Patriots found a way to win. The Browns found a way to not lose.
Jameis.
And then
Jameis, famous Jameis.
Now you called it. You said he's going to eat a W.
Hey, he's the dude. He has.
You were joking,
pressure.
but
he has no pressure. He has no pressure on him. I love.
No, you talk about loosey goosey.
Post game, dude. His post game was like he quoted Eminem. You know, he's basically like using "lose yourself" lines in the post game conference. You know, he's like, you only get one shot, get one opportunity. You know, let it slip or let it pass. You know, it's just like this dude's something else. You know. He's great. I saw him. I saw a video the other day where he was defending Deshaun Watson, right? And he was talking about the crowd, talking back, and he was like, "This." He's like, "This is a man who loves this team and loves this city and does everything by the book." And da 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 da. And I was just like, in the comment section, I was like, "Give this man an Oscar." Because, I mean, It is like Denzel. He is Denzel. Right. He is pulling it off. He does not believe any of this.
Got nothing on him.
But he is saying exactly what he needs to say. And I know that he's an interception machine. I know that he sometimes makes bad decisions. But he's not that terrible of a quarterback. And it amazes me that he has not found a full-on home. Maybe it's Cleveland. Maybe Cleveland moved on from Deshaun. I don't know. But he needs a home and he needs a shot. Like his personality is just great. I still hate him for beating Auburn in the national championship. I'm never going to let that slide. But his sound bites are the best, you know, and his pep talks are the best, and just his interviews are like, he's got to be just a fun dude to hang out with, you know.
Cleveland Browns find a way to beat Baltimore. I did not have that on my bingo card, and
when I saw Henry got the touchdown, I was like, oh, that's cool. It kind of sucks because I was going against him in fantasy, but I was like, oh, Ravens pulled it out, and then voila, famous Jameis. Well,
you should be okay. You had Mostert, right?
Strong. He's strong. Well, you know, I did have Mostert. I did. I sent him to waivers today because I had to activate some guys from IR, and he had 2 touchdowns. But you know, I got a lot of running backs, man. It's like I got Kareem Hunt, I got Jonathan Taylor, I got Joe Mixon, I've got another dude, and I was just like, I gotta pull Jonathan Taylor off IR, and Mostert hasn't done anything, and I didn't know that, the spark of Tua was going to make him get 2 touchdowns, and Achane got like 400 yards. But hey, that's the way it goes in the world of fantasy football.
Great game that was. Tua really resurrected the offense, didn't he, Miles?
Yeah. So 3 touchdowns for him today. The Dolphins had 3 touchdowns in their last 4 games. I can't even believe they scored 3 touchdowns in the last 4 games.
Right. Yeah. And there you have it. Like Tyreek Hill even said, "Hey, start me this week."
Yeah,
I saw.
Finally, he did something for my fantasy team.
Yeah, I commented on that guy's post where he was cooking with his wife. He was like, "Yeah, we're cooking with the wife." Yeah, I was like, "Could you just get me some fantasy points? That would be nice." I was just trolling because I don't even have him on any teams, but why not?
Yeah,
why not, man?
It's a worth comment. They won't know any different.
That's what you do. But yeah, I did not. I saw a comment the other day, or an actual post this page. I beef with them a little bit. They just copy people's stuff and steal it. And I call them out all the time. The guy actually called me an asshole in the comments of the day. And I was like, "Thank you." I sent him a meme and said, "Thank you."
It's a win.
He was talking on there. He's like, this team is just an embarrassment. And remember when they scored 70 points and all this? And I was like, he said, "This is completely uncalled for with this roster." I was like, "Have you seen that they don't have a quarterback? Like, are you looking at the Titans? Are you looking at teams that don't have quarterbacks? Like, it doesn't matter who is on the roster. Like, you ain't going to do it. You ain't going to do anything.
Right.
You don't have a quarterback.
No one can get Tyreek the ball. Yeah. And the fact that he's gotten more women pregnant this year than scored fantasy points, it all comes down to the quarterback play.
And lawsuits.
Yeah, right. And arrests.
He's on a roll. So Cheetah is on a roll.
Welcome to Sports Idiot Nation, folks.
Yeah, we upper echelon. We talk about the points that matter here. But yeah, you're right, Adam. I don't have Mostert anymore, and I lost that game today by like 50 points. So he could have helped me. He could have helped me out.
Yeah, chip back. You only lost by 35.
Well,
that's right.
I think if you would have just plugged in every single tight end, it was the 6th anniversary of National Tight End Day, a record 177 receptions from tight ends yesterday.
That's a hell of a fun fact.
Just unreal.
Why can't they just do it at every Sunday? Like Travis Kelce's been
George Kittle would be.
Sam Laporta's been a disappearing act. Well, not against the Titans. Everybody comes back to earth.
They all tighten up against Tennessee.
George Kittle looked good last night. He's been a little AWOL as well.
Yep, did his thing.
Brock Bowers did all right. He only had about 80 yards, but only had 5 catches.
Well, he leads the world in pretty much all categories.
That game winner, that game winner for Washington? Was that a tight end as well?
Okay. We gotta talk about that.
Yeah, we have to.
How bad is this that it is not a one Miles Harrington? It is not his idiot of the week. This is how crazy is this? Now, I'm trying to remember. You guys did not see the end of the Bears Commanders game live, correct?
I did. Miles.
Okay. That's right. You did. Me and you did.
So
yes.
I will reenact what happened at dinner. I was out to dinner with my mother-in-law and father-in-law, my son for his birthday, and my wife. And everybody's just sitting there enjoying their thing and talking and doing their stuff. And of course, my eyes watching the TV, and I look up and I see whoever it was run out. I don't know if it was running back. Ran out like 2 seconds left. I saw they're down by 3, and I was like, "Oh, he must be in field goal range." And I look up, and I'm like, "Oh no, clearly not." And so I'm interested. I see Jaden Daniels out there running all around, buying time, and he just chucks it. When that happened, I literally jumped out of my seat a little bit. I was leaning around on a railing, looking up, and I went, "Holy sh!" and caught myself because my son is there, and I was like, "Cow! Holy cow!" And my in-laws and stuff are looking at me, because they're in their 80s, and I'm like, "Look, whatever just happened right there, all of you need to turn around and watch this." I was like, every single one of you, and all of them watching it.
All by himself. I don't understand.
Yeah. And of course, my son's like, "That was awesome," and it's like he doesn't know what's going on. He's just like entertaining me because I'm an idiot, I mean, he's more mature than I am sometimes, and he's 9. So, today is my son's birthday. He's 9 years old. I have to say happy birthday to my son. You know, I don't allow him to watch the show because he needs to have a, he needs to not be repeating the stuff we say at school.
Buddy, earmuffs, buddy,
earmuffs.
buddy,
but
earmuffs.
You would have think I was a lifelong Redskins Commanders fan at that point, the way I reacted to it. But it was just so awesome.
Same.
Dude. It was so awesome. I mean,
well, and my first glimpse of it was the now infamous Twitter or X video of Tyreek Stevenson jaw-jacking with the Washington fans and turn around and giving the and then football and then runs over and it's going to live in infamy, bats it up in the air and hands the game. That's just so perfect. I mean, you can't even script that. If you saw that in a show or a movie, you're like, okay, that's cheesy. Like, that's so overblown right there. But the fact that he's the one that tipped it up and gave the game away after taunting the fans during the play, it's just too glorious. And we're going to see that and talk about it 20, 25 years from now.
Yeah, if you all hop on our page, there's a nice little reel of it that you'll enjoy. I don't want to give it away for you, but
so funny. Just in real time, you're looking to like, did you guys see that? That's
unreal.
Not it. Like when he caught it, he's just standing there, and it almost like takes a second to register. Then they pan out and show like the coach or like everyone else, and they're like, they won. Like, it's just unbelievable that they didn't just bat it down, or that someone didn't recognize that if the ball gets tipped and back, that there's only one guy standing there and he's wearing a maroon helmet.
Yeah, that's another thing too. What a genius move by him. He's like, hey, whatever happens, but I'm going to hang away from the crowd and watch the aftermath. And
all
he's
by
like
himself. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean,
going boxing out.
Well, everybody has this. There's one thing on their mind, and it's get that ball, block that ball, and he's just like, there's no way somebody's going to catch it. It's going to get batted around. Why don't I wait and see? Yeah, he's just waiting for the rebound. He's Dennis Rodman out there.
Shot.
That's Dennis Rodman getting that touchdown.
Yeah, just
it's pretty
crazy.
It's pretty slick.
Idiots.
And I mean, again, we've said before, none of us are big Bears fans here. None of us are big Caleb Williams fans. So it's nice to kind of see Jaden Daniels get that win over Kate. Because what we were talking about a couple weeks ago, everybody wants to anoint Caleb Williams as the Rookie of the Year, but we all currently feel that it's Jaden Daniels to lose. So,
this helps cement that, because
absolutely
that wouldn't have happened.
And how about his post game? They asked him what were your thoughts. He was like, buy some time, let it fly. That's cool, man. That's cool. That's so cool, dude. That's Chuck Norris type stuff, man. Just like he wasn't like, well, I just thought that if I got out there and I saw the guy break and da-da-da, he was just like,
right.
Let it fly. At that point, you should just put sunglasses on and rode off on a motorcycle, like with explosions in the background. I'd be like, I'm voting for that guy for president.
Right.
Yeah,
love that happened to the Bears. The just dumbest franchise.
I didn't see it. I didn't see this coming. I saw him at LSU. I thought he was good. I know he won the Heisman. I know he was a good player, but I just did not see this immediate translation, and this impact. I mean, I know Washington was really a crapshoot. I know they were looking for somebody to step up, but I did not see him stepping up that quick. And I mean, they're off their first 4-0 start since like 2003 or something. What are they, 6-2 now? I mean,
6-2. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's awesome. Redskins fans, Commanders fans have been waiting for a long time.
Well, Commander fans have not waited that long.
Yeah.
Redskins fans are actually in the mode of waiting long. So you were correct.
Yeah.
You weren't an idiot in that regard. That is. We talked a lot about
speaking
idiots,
of idiot. What's that noise?
Mayday. Cover your brains, boys and girls. Put on your tinfoil hats, because this is Idiot of the Week.
All right, you sinners and idiots. This week's idiot, coming from Stoughton, Wisconsin, just outside Madison, is some teenage knucklehead that mixed his Delta 9 oil with the pizza oil and contaminated upwards of 60 pizza pies last week between Tuesday and Thursday. And some boys and girls, moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas got a little bit more than that they bargained for. And if you're not familiar with Delta 9, well, that has the active ingredient of THC, which gets you high. Comes from marijuana. Word is, though, the community's a little bit split on this because some people really enjoyed it. Others, not so much.
Some people are like, this is the best pizza I've ever had.
Yeah.
Right.
I've eaten this place weeks, but
Famous Yeti was the name of that pizza joint. It's really famous now.
Very
Actually, matter of
famous Yeti.
fact, Famous Yeti reminds me of a child book that I like to read to my daughter. The Power of Yeti, if I can get the light on that correct. The Power of the Yeti. Well, I guess the Power of the Yeti comes through Delta 9 oil now, and just accidentally mixed it in. Yeah, I think that's gross negligence there into malfeasance. So, Pizza Boy, you are the idiot of the week.
Pizza Boy, your job has 30 seconds because you're probably getting fired. Yeah, I mean, yeah, some of those, and some people like to feed their pets, their leftovers. There are probably a couple dogs out there that got a nice little Cheech and Chong trip, I mean,
just doggy dog.
Just wild. But think about like how many kids too, like some kids experience some things that they have were are not familiar with, like their cartoons were a lot different than
nor should they be.
Like,
My body feels weird.
It's like watching that Cat in the Hat movie. The Cat in the Hat movie. Yeah, that's trippy.
That one. Oh, that one. And yeah, that one is not. Ironically,
like Myers.
There's a lot of weird innuendos in that movie too. Definitely, I watched it with my kiddo. I was like, this is not really a kid's movie. But
right,
you were on Delta 9.
There's like some 8-year-olds like go in the kitchen like rummaging through the cabinets. Dad's like, "What are you looking for?" It's like, "I'm looking for Funyuns, dude. Got some Funyuns." Like, what? We don't even own Funyuns. How do you even know Funyuns exist? It's like, I don't know. I'm just craving them.
Right. I don't know. I'm high, man.
They sound good. Yeah, right.
I don't know, Dad. I've been playing video games for 5 hours, and
Yeti's pizza.
I'm just really, my mouth's real dry. Just want some fruit punch.
I want more pizza.
Funyuns, man. I want a Mountain Dew Baja Blast and some Funyuns.
Jolt.
Man.
I want a Jolt.
I want a Jolt Cola. Yeah. Yeah. How about that?
Oh,
Crazy. I had some friends that worked in a pizza place before, and they wouldn't do something that ridiculous. Come on, man.
Good old Delta 9.
Though.
Yeah, I had friends in college that managed Little Caesars. We got free pizza all the time. It was great.
Yep. I managed Little Caesars. What's crazy is I'll still order it. Like once you're there, you should be like tapped out. Like you never want to mess with it again. But like
it's a $5
and
pizza,
the lunch combo and all that.
I mean, a $5 pizza that tastes good. I'm on board, man. Right. I mean, I buy gas station hot dogs, man. There's no shame in my game.
Oh, you definitely come off as someone that would definitely buy hot dogs from the gas station.
More than one, bro. More than one.
Right. Man.
More than one. I know the people at the gas stations by name because sometimes I get them to cook me some stuff. Shout out to my boy Ethan at Thornton's.
Right. Hopefully he is one of 12,000 subscribers as we are just keep moving through the ranks. 12,000 subscribers on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on YouTube and become one of those subscribers if you haven't already, as well as the podcast. The usual suspects are always going to be Apple and Spotify. Follow us wherever you get your social media. New shows are out every Monday and Thursday, which means we will see you this Thursday for Halloween. We'll see you this Thursday.
Okay, all you sinners, follow Sports Idiot Nation on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, and remember, the most fun way to watch us is on YouTube every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be updated when new content drops. Remember, the podcast can also be found on the usual suspects of Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Always remember, don't be an idiot.
Sinner.